pain. We run the clock, Super 16 is the cream of the crop. College football time of year, don't stop.
You're adding this guy.
Just another go dome with the courage, heart, skill, and will. Bringing you the best 16, serving up a plate for the football fiends. Breaking the best 16 college teams. Football fans, it's the show of your dreams.
Ain't no bias, Chris Zorich breaking truth. Traded in the golden helmet in the past for a suit. With the tape, never lies, college ball, he's a stoop. Breaking the top 16, not the top 32.
I don't mean to cut you off like a Zorich jersey, but you ain't really grinding unless the jersey dirty. Hit the running back like a Mack truck behind the 30-yard line. It's game time, my team riding off the sideline.
You look at Chris like this with a fact checklist, going over college teams like a busy scientist. He's streaking from his head like in his playing days. Super 16 polls on the show straight away.
It's the FBS, the best of the best from the ACC to the SEC. Pac-12, Big Ten, Mountain West, Sun Belt, and the Big 12. Open your eyelids, who the best like the clock. Super 16 is the cream of the crop. College football time of year, don't stop. With Christopher Zorich, just another go dome with the courage, heart, skill, and will. Bringing you the best 16, serving up a plate for the football fiends. Breaking the best 16 college teams. Football fans, it's the show of your dreams.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Super 16 Poll Show. Interestingly enough, this is the amazing coverage you're going to have a half hour before the game, the national championship game, with Georgia versus TCU. And then check us out immediately after the game, where we'll give you kind of a breakdown on who won and why. And we'll probably save the discussion about the move to a 12-team playoff system that that the College Football Playoff Committee will go to in 2024. In the meantime, we have an exciting game to watch. I do want to thank the College Football Foundation for allowing us to participate in the Super 16 poll, along with the Football Writers Association of America. And I'd like to bring in my co-host of Excitement Danger, who actually showered before this telecast. Hi, there you go. Yep, I like it. I'm trying to give you an intro, and you're playing the music. Thank you.
Hey, that was a good intro.
Right. Well, I didn't even finish it, and you were supposed to make your own little.
Ron G didn't get to that. I can't make these things.
So
I can't do it all, Chris.
I thought you could. You actually told me you could.
I try.
You try.
Can't do it all. Bratcher disappeared. I don't know what. I think he's got 7 jobs. We do have to get Ron G to put my name there.
Yes.
We could do it on the drop down. Could go like this. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Look at that.
Perfect.
Magic.
So then you do know how to do everything. See, look at you.
I'm back. I am the smartest man.
You are. Well, let's talk to Shane about that. But we have a lot to get to. We've got an exciting game coming up. I just want to hit a couple things.
The national championship, baby.
Sadly enough, it's the last game of the year. Although I'm excited, I'm so frustrated and sad because I think there's like a Senior Bowl, and then we don't have anything left. So it's going to be frustrating, and I'd love to talk to you about the Bears. However, it's not going to happen because we only got about 10 minutes. So
we can't talk Bears.
We can't even talk about the fact
first overall pick
since 1912 or something like that.
1947.
Wow.
It was 1947. Virginia McCaskey was heading to the prom.
Which is actually pretty good, right? Considering, right? You know.
That is a pretty good record to never hold the first overall pick.
Yes, which actually 1947. Yes. However, they've had like 67 coaches since that time, but that's a whole different conversation. So,
don't get people fired up. I already got enough people fired up.
All right, well, I want to get fired up because we have a game in a couple minutes.
Let's go. Are you pulling for TCU and your Your vote for coach of the year?
How about that? Who knew, huh? Who knew?
You always pull for the SEC.
I am, but I understand football. So here's the first question I'm going to ask. If you are in that locker room right now and you do Kirby Smart and I'll do Sonny Dykes. So you are Kirby Smart. What do you say to your team?
Well, I don't.
That's
awesome.
Have the
southern. I don't have that southern.
I'm going to go out there and kill somebody now.
I don't have that southern draw, but I certainly got a beat. Give me my theme music. And I would walk in there and I'd be like, we've been here before. We've been here before. People have doubted us. Georgia, you can't win the big game. And all I got to do is turn my head and look at this guy. Stand up. You've been doubted. You've been kicked to the curb. Christ, even I didn't believe that you can overcome this. If he ain't the leader, you leave everything out on the field. Everything. You're the SEC. Christ, even Notre Dame and Chris Zorich believe in us. So go out there and show the world. We ain't gonna let an underdog find a way to get a quick shot in us. We take the punches and we throw them back harder. We go for the knockout early, and then let's celebrate. That's what I say to this.
Love it. All right.
See what I'm talking about?
That was good. I thought I was going to put you on the spot. That's good, man. That's a good speech.
Thank you. I think I've coached.
You thought I was going to say Sonny Dykes, didn't you?
I thought you were going to give me Sonny Dykes, but I would have been prepared for that too.
See, I'm going to flip it. So I'm going to do Sonny Dykes. So, and this is interesting because, as Phil knows, I've been on the opposite of whoever Sonny Dykes and the Horned Frogs are playing. It's because I don't like the Big 12. So this is called journalism. This is called flipping the script. Correct?
Yes.
All right. So this is me. So this is me doing Sonny Dykes. I don't have the draw, but everybody in the country has said that you were underdogs. And you kind of took my thing, Phil. I was going to point out Max Duggan. Get your ass up. Stand up. Everybody doubted you. Matter of fact, I doubted you. Your ass is on the bench. But what have you proven? Not only to me, more importantly, to the guys in this locker room. Because at the end of the day, this is all that anybody that you should be caring about are the people in this locker room. 20 years from now, 50 years from now, the only people that are going to be excited about this game are the people in this locker room. I want you to understand, you have 60 minutes to play and a lifetime to remember. Do you understand that? No one else. We were ranked 7th in our conference, unranked going into this year. Everybody in the country doubted us, except the people in this room. Some of your family members, some guys that aren't here, they wanted to jump in the portal. They're not here. They don't understand what it takes. You want to be successful? You want to be a champion? More importantly, you need to play for everybody in this room. I think you can do it. No one else in this country does, but I do. And 20 years from now, we're going to get together and we're going to celebrate TCU's first national championship. Let's go out there and kick some Georgia ass.
There you go. There you go.
Look at that.
I like it.
However, I don't know if TCU has ever won a national championship before, but
I think they did in 1947 when the Bears had the first.
All right, give me 3 keys on how TCU wins this game. 3.
First, big time, you gotta play like you played against Michigan. You tackled so well. That defense has gotta tackle Georgia. And, McIntosh hitting it up in the hole, you're gonna have to put his ass to the ground. Send the message. 3rd downs, you're going to have to pressure Bennett. You're going to have to take some chances here. Everything's on the line, like you said. You can't get conservative here. So you got to believe in that defense. The defense is key, because if you keep them out of the end zone, you're still in the game. Everyone forgets that in football. That's why it's cliche to say defense wins championships. It ain't cliche. It's the truth. You got to go out there and tackle and be critical on third down. Then offensively, listen, I'm not going to keep it a secret. It's all up to you, big dog, the red-headed freaking red rifle. You're going to have to go out there and carry this team. And everybody's got to rise up and make plays. It ain't about chunk plays. It's about moving the chains. That's where TCU, you're going to have to play great defense here today. Tackling is going to be the key. If TCU tackles and plays the way, number 14 on TCU, my God, what a football player.
Mm-hmm.
If they come to play like that, then I think that's the impetus for them to win, because I think this kid is going to be able to run and move the football, the chains. Obviously, they got the big wide receiver who I love in Johnston, but I don't want them forcing offense. Like, let it happen. It all goes through the redhead. Then everything else will go from there. So those are the three keys. Moving the chains by running the quarterback and option game. Don't get fooled by trying to make big plays. Play great defense and get off the field on third down. Those are the keys in my mind.
Okay, those are the three keys for
TCU to win.
Can you give me some intangibles that you think would put them over the top?
Well, I think if they hit the big plays off the running, and they hit the big play to Johnston, then I think that's going to be able to put them over the top. But if they can't try to reach for it, you got to let the game come to you. And I think it all starts with the defense. If they're getting gashed, that's the game right there. So the defense is really about, that's going to put them over the top. If they tackle really well, they're going to stay in this game. I mean, Michigan, you have 2 freaking pick sixes. Right? And you still are in the game. Mm-hmm. That gives me big concerns about TCU versus Georgia.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, you got to tackle. You have to tackle. And we'll see how they do tonight. That's the critical. Then Johnston will be the key factor to put you over the top. If he's able to make some big plays down the football field, then your confidence is going to grow. But you can't reach for that early. You know what I'm saying? Like, that can't be your, let's start the game, let's start throwing the ball all over the place.
Right. Now you're in panic mode.
Nah, exactly. Just try to go through the quarterback. He got you there. Don't forget that shit. Michigan forgot that shit.
Well, Michigan was the coach, but yes, I agree. So there are some intangibles that I think folks should kind of pay attention to that I think are important. One, that TCU has never been in this situation before.
Right.
And if they have, it was in the 40s. But the idea that, and it's interesting because
1938.
Thank you very much. So 1938.
That's close.
It was very close. Virginia
Bears had the second overall pick.
Was Virginia born yet at that time, or
what year was she born? 1930. When was?
Well, no, she's 100.
Okay, I can't do math like this.
Okay, wow. Okay.
19. She's 100.
Officer, I forgot.
1922.
So she was 10. So the idea would be, which we saw with Michigan, which I was really surprised, because Michigan talked about how when they were here last year in the playoffs, that they were enjoying the moment. They were doing the events. They were having fun. And this year was like a business trip. And I thought that may have been one of the reasons why Michigan kind of laid an egg, right?
Right.
But the idea would be, if TCU is TCU taking it seriously, right? Is it a situation where, hey, let's enjoy this? Because at the end of the day, you have to enjoy it because it's a game, but that only goes so far, right? So for Georgia, I mean, all this is old hat for them.
Right.
Now, they were newbies last year. They knocked off the top dog. But I think that what's going to put them over the top as an intangible is the fact that they've done this before. They've gone to hotels. They've spent 3 hours sleeping the night before the game. TCU has not, and I think when teams find themselves in a situation, I think that they try harder. Mm-hmm. And I think kind of what you were alluding to is that what they need to do in order to win or to overcome that is to play their game, not try to overcompensate, right? Not try to go and win the game each down.
Exactly.
Let's play or let's execute the play that's called. Right. As opposed to trying to win the game every play, which is not going to happen, right? But it's such a big game, and I think that's going to have a huge factor in this team where you have this Goliath in Georgia, and you have the smaller team who's never been there before in TCU. So those are the intangibles for me.
Sonny Dykes has tapped into, you talk about what it was against Kansas State when they lost.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of tapped into, okay, no one believes in us. So you get into that. If you can tap into that place where you get TCU as an underdog without the nerves,
right?
And you just tap into, let's go out there and have fun. And you have them really believe that. Because to your point, if you get tense and you're nervous, that's when critical errors and false steps and you lose track of your fundamentals. I mean, the preparation is critical here because you're obviously facing, if we're in a gym class, Georgia has all the athletes and you have a few on your side, right? So now this is why I love football so much, because it comes back to coaching. And Sonny Dykes, Coach of the Year, has to have tapped into the mentality of the player to believe and be comfortable in the expectation of winning.
Right.
Like if you have players, we're never going to win. You've lost. You've lost. That's why, and I hate to bring it back to the Bears, that's why when everyone said, the Bear, he has no talent. And I'm like, you're a coach. These are NFL players. They came from TCU, Minnesota, wherever the frig they came from. They all have talent.
Right.
Give me this crap. It just drives me insane. Like, they don't have any talent. Coach better.
Mm-hmm.
Expect more.
Right.
Dumb it down. Sonny Dykes has to tap into that underdog card. And it's a mental game. Football is 90% mental, Chris. You know that. It's like, if you believe in yourself, you're going to go out there and win. Even if you get punched in the face, sometimes you're like, wait a second, I got to wake the hell up and do this better, right?
Which is kind of interesting because I was very fortunate to play in the national championship game in 1988. And we were facing Major Harris, who was eventually going to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. But that year he had like 5,000 yards. I mean, it was just
so good.
It was unfreaking believable, right? I mean, he was just absolutely amazing.
Virginia.
Just absolutely amazing. But that first series, on defense at least, I mean, I was nervous as hell. I mean, I didn't jump off sides, but I was missing tackles. I was afraid. I was timid. But then after that first series got going, I realized, hey, man, these guys aren't that tough. Or, hey, this guy didn't hit as hard as I thought he was going to.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, and so it wasn't, at least for me, but I think a lot of guys on the team, if you talk to them now, that first series, you're a little nervous because this is it. This is the game, right? Exactly. I mean, this is what you worked, maybe all your life, or at least during the summer for, and then having an opportunity to kind of be in this game. And so that first series on defense, man, I'm glad they didn't score, but I mean, I think I missed a couple tackles or whatever, but then after that, I wound up getting the hang of it. So kind of what you're talking about is being able to kind of understand the moment, right? And being in the moment for these TCU players that, hey, you know what? They catch, they run, they fall, just the exact same way as we do. Yes, they may be in this better conference, but we're good. And if we weren't good, we wouldn't be here. We're good. So it's just a matter of putting together a good game, and we'll have a chance to be successful.
This is why I love this game. I mean, nobody picked TCU to be in this position.
Nobody.
How
could they? They were 7th in the conference. And
that's what this is about. I mean, it's the proven point. I mic drop every week on these nerds because it's like football is a mentality, and it begins and ends with the coach. I'm sorry, and talent is critical. There's no doubt. But guess what gets talent in the building? The coach. The coach. And that's the reality of what, Nick Saban has done. And now you see Kirby doing, and you see it all around the country. And now the transfer portal and all that stuff is throwing screwballs into the whole system that you're now going to have to rearrange how you do your due diligence in your recruiting process.
Sure.
And
it's interesting.
Your team is getting probably one of the best quarterbacks in the country, going to Notre Dame now, transferring there. That, you think that changes the dynamic of Notre Dame football? It sure as hell should.
Well, I mean, and I think this is to your point, though, right? When you talk about coaching, right? And so, yes, you can see, you can get crazy talent in the transfer portal, as we had a chance to see with Michigan State 2 years ago, right?
Exactly.
So they had this magical year. Then you find out during the year that almost half the guys were from the transfer portal, right? So you had a very kind of experience-laden team, but that only got them so far, right? I mean, they wound up beating Michigan that year, and they were successful, but then all of a sudden, guess what? They have all the talent in the world, basically, and they still wound up losing. So the idea is that, yes, you have all this talent, but at the end of the day, you got to be a good coach to be able to put this talent together.
It's going to be that way for ever in football. Just doesn't resonate with a lot of people because fantasy football is taken over, and stats and money and caps and all that stuff. At the end of the day, all you have to do is look at walk-ons and undrafted free agents. There's a reason why they weren't believed in. It was the stopwatch. It was an opportunity in high school. It was the lack of wherever. Maybe they grew. Brian Urlacher was 6'1" as a freshman in college. Then he grew to 6'4". Whatever it is, talent is going to, find the top if they work at it, if they love the game. It's up to the coach, though, to put those talented players in the right position. That's why I don't listen to anybody. Penn State running backs suck. Alabama quarterbacks, you can never draft. You don't scout by the team. You scout by the player, and you see the play. Like for me, the knock on Bryce Young, his size, that's not going to affect my assessment of his poise, his accuracy, his toughness, his ability to anticipate, his arm strength. All of that stuff outweighs his 6 foot or 5'10", whatever he is. For me.
And especially with him, I don't mean cut you off, but with him, he's a competitor, right? So he there's a high possibility he may be the first person taken, but guess what he did for his bowl game that wasn't indicative of the national championship. This dude said he's playing, and he played in the damn game.
That should send a message to everybody.
Volumes.
I love that kid.
Volumes.
I love that kid. I had a higher grade on him than Mac Jones and Justin Fields and so on and so forth. Obviously, some of the other guys. That's how much I believe in Bryce Young. But that's neither here or there. I mean, this game, Georgia has so much talent. Remember last year there was 7 first-round picks came out of there, or something crazy. 6.
It was crazy, man.
And you were watching that defense. It was one of the greatest all time. Right, I mean, now,
at that point, they were. There was a couple quarters they scored more than the offense. Maybe
exactly.
It was like a pick six, fumble recovery for a touchdown. I mean, it was like, wow, it was crazy.
And tonight for Bears fans, holding the first overall pick. Everybody's going to have a mock draft and a plan. Right now, the only one that really needs to is Ryan Poles. And for you tonight, a guy in this game, Jalen Carter, playing that 3 technique like Zorich did, it is going to be
a little bit better. A little bit better than me. But
he hasn't done shit yet, Chris. So
he did shit in college.
Does he love the game of football? That's what we have to find out. That's tonight. This is no excuse boat. Right. Remember the Love Boat in the 80s? Fucking Isaac pouring out drinks for Cherie and
Captain Stubing. Come on, man. That was my show.
Right now, this is the last trip on the Love Boat, right? You got to lay everything out and dominate. I don't care if they're double team, triple teaming you. You're driving your ass into the backfield and you're letting everybody know, don't you worry about me. I'm going to do everything. That's what I want to see. That's why, and I always bring it back to the Bears because I can't help it. And our audience probably loves it, but that's what the Bears have to freaking find. Guys that love this game. And oh, by the way, Bryce Young's teammate, best player in the draft last year and this year, he loves the game, right? So that's what you're looking for, dogs like that. So I'm Ryan Poles. I got to keep that in my mind. Is Justin Fields my guy? He is. I trade down one, get more pick. I'm eyeballing Will Anderson. I'm not losing a pillar piece, an identity of what it is you're trying to do for your football team. There's a holy trinity in football. The top, the Holy Spirit is the quarterback. No doubt. Then it's the pass rusher. Then it's your offensive left tackle. That's how you got to find your pillars. Do the Bears have that? That's up to you, fans, to decide. Everybody has an opinion on Justin Fields. But the Bears definitely need a pass rusher. Gotta get I don't get away from Will Anderson.
So I was hoping and praying that he wasn't going to be able to put this into our conversation because we only have like 2 seconds left. But thank you very much, sir. We are talking about Georgia and TCU. This is a college football show, which I saw a little.
Bring some college.
I know. I saw a little transition there, but so we're a couple minutes away from the game.
Do they even kick off at 7:30, Chris?
No. Well, it's going to take some time.
It's going to take like God bless America.
Right. We got some celebrities going to jack up.
Virginia McCaskey's going to show up.
Wow.
Birthday salute.
Well, no. So we talked about TCU.
Yes, TCU.
What are the things Georgia needs to do to win the game?
Georgia's got to believe in Stetson. And Stetson has got to make the plays when they matter most. Because, listen, McIntosh to me is going to be the story of this game. Can TCU and their front seven stop McIntosh? Mm-hmm. That kid runs hard. I mean, he runs hard. And then, obviously, a couple backup guys that go in there. And then they got to stop the big plays down the field. Obviously, the big tight end is hurt, number 0. So the other tight end, who's probably the best tight end, sorry, Notre Dame.
Oh, easy.
They're close.
Second best tight end.
I like the Georgia kid a little better.
Of course you do. Because you hate Notre Dame. I'm just saying.
I don't. I love Notre Dame. Todd Light was my guy. I wanted Todd Light. Jeff Burris.
There you go.
Tim Brown. I mean, come on.
Wow. Blast from the past.
Chris Zorich was the only guy I ended up getting out of Notre Dame. Ricky Waters.
There you go.
You ever talk to him?
Absolutely.
Ricky running waters.
Fellow captain.
Georgia, though, you have all the talent. If you play with your hair on fire and you take TCU's punch, because TCU, I believe, Sonny Dykes, I went from loving him to hating him against Kansas State. I'm like, this coach gets it. Then all of a sudden he forgets the quarterback got you down there. What are you doing? These coaches, situationally, I just hire me to be in the headset for you, to remind you.
Right, the voice.
Getsy would be like getting it. It's 3rd and 1. David Montgomery and Blasingame in the game.
Wow.
3rd and 1, coach. Remind you. Same here. Georgia, Stetson. I believe in Stetson. Everyone's like 5th round pick. He's this, that. I believe this kid is a lot better than. I think he gets biased because of his height as well as his age, and that's fine. But another guy, when the lights are the brightest, the composure and the ability to make plays. Bryce Young is in another Tom Brady light.
Sure.
The only other guy I remember watching and scouting, I'm sorry, bringing it back to Bryce Young, was Jake Plummer. Jake Plummer just competitively just did things that was unbelievable at that time. If you remember, every moment, every time there needed to be a big play. And say whatever it is you want about Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. You go, oh boy, the last thing you want is them with the ball with 2 minutes to go and they're down by 6 or 3. You just didn't want that. You haven't had that. That's what Stetson has. He has that. It ain't over. Give me the ball. Right. Same with the kid on the other side. That's why this game is where they are. It's going to be exciting, Chris.
And I think one
Georgia's
of the big
defense, Georgia's defense again is just so fast.
Well, I think that's my biggest factor is that they need to show up because, as you mentioned before, defense wins championships. Their bread and butter is on the D-line. And they can be as dominant as they can, as we've seen in the past. But, I mean, this game is going to show, I don't care if you're playing Navy or Vanderbilt or you're playing for the national championship, you need to play like your hair is on fire.
Absolutely.
And if in the second half or if at halftime you guys are up by 5 touchdowns, then maybe you can relax and put in the guy behind you, who, by the way, is a 5th or 4-star guy anyway. And I think that's what's going to kind of be the determining factor for me, I think, is that Georgia's depth, I think, is going to overtake what TCU has off.
So do you have a prediction before the game?
I do. Are you watching the game? Because it hadn't started yet. I was taking a cue from you saying that they need to do like 15 things before they start the game. Come on, man.
I'm gonna the game's on in the other room. My son and wife are watching it. I'm in here with you, so of course I'm gonna go watch the game.
Haven't started yet.
Shane's like, you guys should have just did a live show with me and you reacting to the game.
Oh God, that would be
good. Next year we're gonna do that.
There'd be too many F-bombs. I mean, the whole show would be like beep 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 beep. What the beep beep beep?
Could we get some of your former teammates as guests during the game? That would be fun.
Yeah, as long as they're not involved with any alcohol, that'd be great.
Michael Stonebreaker.
By the way, I was going to say that to later, but since you didn't say his name, we would like to congratulate Michael Stonebreaker for making the College Football Hall of Fame.
Look at
He is in the 2023 class.
Michael Stonebreaker. I just threw him out there in my head. How weird is that? I did not know that.
Although I love him as a teammate, by the way, I'm going to tell him, why did it take him so long? I was inducted in 2007, but that's okay. No one's judging.
Does he still have like long hair or no?
Oh, you have no idea.
Bald?
No. He's the opposite of bald. He still has his hair.
He's got the long hair.
I'm pretty sure he hasn't cut it since we
look like a lumberjack now.
Yes.
Jesus. Joe Montana show up a little bit, Joey.
He might be a little busy.
Listen, I'm excited. The national championship. It's bittersweet.
Yes,
because it's the end of college football. That's how I felt like with the Bears.
How did you do that?
Because it's the end of the season. Now I'm envious. Like watching football now, it's like, oh my god.
It's fun now, right? See what happens?
I get jealous. I get to watch playoff football and Bears are going to be talking about Lovey got fired
because
Kingsbury. He totally did that on purpose. They told him before the game. I was told this.
Did they really?
Yes, that they were gonna. He's gone. This is it. Lovey went out there and totally said,
"Wow,
we're winning this game." So the Bears will get the first round. I'll get you that way. Yes.
Wow, that's hilarious.
I gotta give him credit.
Did you see that that picture I sent you with Cliff Kingsbury?
I couldn't believe I can't believe he got fired.
No, did you see the picture I sent you?
Were you sitting alone?
Yeah, so that was the draft in, was it 2020? I think.
And that was him selecting the players?
Yeah, so the
by himself.
So the big thing was either COVID. No, dude, check it out, man. They ran this whole expose on like the new age NFL choices, and this dude is chilling in his living room with his feet
watching
up,
the draft,
looking like, but it was like an ad out of like Restoration Hardware or something like that. It was an ad like a GQ. It
looked like a VRBO.
Yes, it was hilarious.
Right? He had the mountain in the back, a fire pit going, and he's selecting players to the draft.
Players, yes.
It was like a fantasy draft.
No, they actually sent that out. It was the day because I remember because
oh my god,
because they actually had a picture of Nagy in his office.
Oh my god,
and he had the background
playbook
board had like 30,000 notes on it, like 56 photos. I mean, it was ridiculous. And like you compared them and said, okay, you know who's gonna win? You know,
sad. Listen,
I'm excited. All right.
The NFL is beginning its playoffs. The college football season tonight is putting the finishing touches. Chris, you predicting TCU with the upset?
Absolutely not.
What do you got?
I forgot the score I gave last time, but
yeah, you may change. I'm allowing you to change. Only because I forgot my score too.
Well, right now I'll probably make it like I'm gonna go 42-14, maybe.
Oh, you're looking for the blowout, that Nebraska.
Blowout, man. I'm looking for domination. I am looking for no holds barred. I'm looking for literally like, dude, in 20 years when we remember this, we remember we fucking dominated.
Georgia peach pie.
What'd I say?
42-14 is what you just said. I'm gonna go 35-28.
Ooh.
Closer game than Chris.
ECU?
No, Georgia's gonna win.
Okay.
35-28.
Okay. After you gave that awesome speech?
Yeah, I gave the speech. We won.
Right. You said Georgia. That's right. My bad.
I was going for Georgia.
Yes.
But listen, are you ready to go watch the game, or do you have any final points you'd like to make? Because we're going to be back right after the national championship with you. Jump in.
We would love to we're going to answer some comments. We're going to see who's closer to what they think they know what the hell they're talking about. The one thing I did want to say, okay.
Mark is actually putting his prediction.
I like it.
I love guys that actually do that and not tell me. I picked it. Where? Where?
Well, I told my dog. So one of the things that I wanted to say during my speech, I totally forgot, but this is for both teams. And I think people should really kind of take this under consideration. When you have situations like this and people are playing like in big games, the speech that the head coach may say may not be as influential as what the coach talked about during the summer conditioning, because that's really when a team is made. And coaching isn't the last 5-10 minutes before a game giving you a rah-rah speech. It's the preparation that went into you getting there and you being on top, right? So the fact that both TCU and Georgia had hell of a summer conditioning programs, they made a statement. I mean, especially TCU, right? They were 5-7 the year before. I mean, they made a commitment that took like months and months ago, right? That they realized, hey, we can do something special here. And that's really when a team is formed. A team isn't formed during the season. I mean, you're hardly aren't even practicing. The games are every week. I mean, there's so much going on during the season that you're making sure that you have to be successful, and that time is during the summer. So that's what I want folks to kind of take away from this as well. The idea that teams aren't built during the year, and when coaches talk to you, it may fall on deaf ears for a lot of folks, but what those guys in the locker room are looking at is the sacrifices that they made. Or they look over to their brother and say, hey, I can't let him down because we threw up in the same big old garbage barrel during summer conditioning or 5 o'clock workouts or 4 o'clock workouts. So the idea isn't that somebody can pop in and give a 5-second speech or a 5-minute speech and that's going to win the game. Really, it was built way before that. So that's the last thing I want to say.
There you go. Zorich laying the foundation of the season in summer camp.
No, and we'll see.
Whoever watched Remember the Titans,
about,
you would know exactly what he's talking about.
Very true. Very true.
We got two predictions. Ron G. Ron G.
Hey.
There he is. 42-27.
All right. He's close. Woo, he's closer than mine. Okay, I like
Robert McGraw has TCU.
Uh-oh.
The underdogs. Wow. Same with our guy Ben Ricketts.
Ben, I see. Utes. Shocking the world. They would shock the world.
He's going to Utes.
They would shock the world.
35-28. We're on the same page, Jason. We're going to find out as the teams are getting out there. I'm sure they'll have 3 more things. Dr. Pepper will throw.
Well, I don't know yet. They're up there. They're about to do the coin toss. Wow.
Oh, perfect. All right.
Coin toss.
Coin toss. Guys, we'll be back right after the game right here. We'll set up the show because we have no idea what time that'll be. But keep it locked in here. We'll see you later. For Chris Zorich, Cherie, I'm your guy, Draft Dr. Phil. Let's go. National championship.
Go, Doc. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.